Okay, I've been working on timing discs with the small little trigger magnets. This is the original timing disc for the motor coils to fire with a Hall effect. And I wanted lesser pulse width and a little less draw. So I went with these smaller magnets. Here's the new one right here. It's a little bit smaller magnets. This is the timing disc for the motor coils. And right here are the magnets I'm using now. Pretty small little tiny guys. About a 1/4 inch long. Here's one. So those are my timing magnets. I got quite a few of these. So this is the old timing disc that I showed in the video before. And this was a little ceramic magnet that didn't have as much strength as this neodymium. And this was to disconnect the coils from the caps. And then this was to fire the cap into the load. And there's not enough. I did some testing, and this needs to be a larger time period of when it's disconnected to make double sure for the switch time and everything that the caps are completely disconnected from the coils during the discharge. So I got rid of this one. I'm not using this anymore. And what I did is I took 7 of these little guys and stuck them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a little row, maybe 2 millimeters apart. And so that kind of creates a one big magnet face. But that didn't work so well with all these conflicting poles together, and it wouldn't turn off the relays or the MOSFETs real solid for this time period. So I took a piece of soft steel florist wire, just some of this stuff, and I cut a piece that goes from here to here. It's a little bit curved, so, and I put that right on top of it, and now it works good. It's a nice magnetic field to flip these Hall effects. So, and the way the Hall effect is positioned is real important. Hold on a sec. Okay, so here's the 7 small magnets and a little piece of steel wire on top. And I found that if you go just dead center along the Hall effect, here's a little Hall effect, just dead center, doesn't work so well. You need to have the edge of the Hall effect centered on the little piece of steel like this. And now it'll trip for that full length. And you have to be careful which way, like I explained in the previous video, either the Hall effects like this or the Hall effects like this. So when the Hall effect is correct, it will turn off and disconnect the coils from the caps from this period to this period, that long. And it doesn't seem logical, but that's the way it is. it doesn't do anything until here, the first part of this magnet, and then it stays on even after it's not over the Hall effect is not over the little piece of steel. So it goes like this. Light goes on the relay. Light stays on, light turns off like that. So it's disconnected like here all the way to here. Okay. Now, up here, I have just one of these small little magnets, and this is what unloads the cap into the load up here. And it lasts on, the light goes on, from here to here. Actually, over here I explained the light being on. It's actually the opposite, because the light's on all the time around until it hits here, then the light turns off, disconnects, because that's a normally closed switch for this. And when the Hall effect does its thing, it opens the switch, disconnects it from the caps. So that's the way that is. And up here, this is the pulse width for the cap into the load. And it's not quite centered now. It's like from here to here, it's almost centered. So I might want to move this little magnet over a little bit so it's right in the middle of when it turns on. Actually, yeah. I want to have it about, magnet about right there. And now at this period will be right in the middle of this. Okay. So here's what I'm using. If you're wondering what this pink stuff is, it's this kind of foam polyurethane. It's very, very strong stuff, and it's really light, and you can just cut it with a knife so easy, sand it so easy. It's really great stuff. And I got this over here in Belarus, which is more or less a Russian country, and they use this for, it's called a concrete float. So this is what I'm making everything out of. It's great stuff. Material Horosho in Russian. It's good material. And so I just got a hole saw and cut out a bunch of discs from it. And I'll just show you how it cuts. See, look at it cut. Just nice. Just go cut it. Anyways, so I tested my motor with a double. I went with a firing here and firing here twice a revolution, not just once a revolution. And I had the little magnet here. It didn't work very well. It wasn't, you can tell it wasn't being disconnected during the discharge. So that's why I'm going with this new one here. Long. Make sure it works really good. It's totally disconnected. I'm going to start out with just once a revolution. Once a revolution. It's going to disconnect and fire. So, I guess that's about it for now. Okay, thanks for watching.